Morning everyone. What we also have on site are the variety strips so that we can demonstrate the recommended list for 2027. Things are slightly different now, and I'm sure you're probably very familiar with the fact that we're no longer testing straight genetic. We are now testing the breeder package. So some varieties on the recommended list now have two options. You can have the breeder pellet or the Germain's pellet, and it's stated on there. Now, in addition to that, we've been able to provide an interactive RL. And what's really helpful is an opportunity to search data sets. So if you want to search a trait, for example, if you need beet cyst nematode varieties, you can put that in and it will list all the BCN. If you want ALS, you can do the same, even virus yellows and all the other traits that we have. We're also able to separate the data out in years as well. So if you select a variety, you will see the overall figure for that 3-year period. What you can do is actually look at the data sets for the 3 years that make that up. So it gives you an opportunity to reflect on the season and see how that variety performed within the season as well as the overall data set. So what I'm going to do is we'll walk through the varieties that we've got. They start at the top of the list. You've got 1915 just to my right, and we'll wander through the ones that we've got. I'll pick out one or two things, but it's just to give you a general trend, the information with regard to yield, sugars, disease performance, bolting are all on the board. All the varieties here are with the breeder's package unless it has a G next to it, and you'll, depending on what seed was available at the time of drilling, what we could get hands on, you'll notice there's several a bit further down. So we'll just wander through, but many of you will be very familiar with 1915, a really high yielding performing variety. It's standard variety. It still does really well. What the breeders are really concentrating on is resilience and durability with genetics. So it's stacking the traits, bringing those traits, virus yellows, BCN, combining beet cyst nematode with ALS to give you those solutions. So that's BTS 1915. Next door to it, you've got Rotterdam that's come onto the market in the second position. And then next to that, you've got Keimer with its Cercospora trait, which is something, it's also sitting high on the list. What we also do with all the varieties in the recommended list, and we've got recommended list varieties across all 4 factory areas, as we do trials where we don't spray fungicides. So we can actually look at the performance with and without that strategy. Next to that, you've got Harrietta and Kashana, BCN variety there, quite a popular variety that's been grown on farm. And then Daphne, in this case you'll see it's the first one with a G. Daphne is also BCN, but in this particular case we don't have access to the breeder seed. You've got the Germain's pellet. And then Tweed, interesting one, Struber with regard to the virus yellows, varieties coming on stream. And then you've got several others, Josephina, Button, BTS 7870. It's probably the darkest variety of them all. Interestingly, you probably wouldn't have noticed that until more recently, because you're getting into that stage, you've got more leaf and you can see those subtle differences. That's really important. If you come back in August, then you'll start, although this will get best practice, you will start to see the differences with regard to disease. The foliar diseases start to creep into the crop. And then as we Generosa, another virus yellows from KWS that has taken over from Marushka that you may have remembered. We're on that journey with genetics for virus yellows, but we're making progress, and there are now 4 varieties on the list that offer tolerance to that complex. And then you start to get into the smart variety portfolio. These are all smart varieties from the breeders. What you're also starting to see is stacked as well, ALS with BCN, which is really important. It's giving you those options. So they're the varieties we have. I would encourage you, if you're interested, to come back in August when we'll have the BBLO Beet Field event and an opportunity to look at those in more detail.